Sorry.
Another rock show intro. Sorry. This is our intro tune. Pretty. We paid big bucks for it. So it's pretty.
Came free with the machine.
Yeah, actually did. Right. Okay. Well, here we are. Welcome back. I don't know why I do that. Sometimes I hear it on the radio and then I'm like, let's start with it. Anyway, whatever. It's a rock show. Let's do it. All right. We've got Peter Hanlon today. Very exciting time. No, not yet. We're not. In a minute. He's a ex-army lad. He's a published author. He's got another book on the way. He's currently pretending to be. Oh, we'll let talk. What our current thing is. No, that's not. Well,
see how the conversation goes. Maybe we need some more material.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If we're clutching at straws, we'll go to what you're doing currently. He's been a military advisor on movies. He's been an extra. He's in Kane. He's also dabbled a little bit as a producer. We'll get into that as well, obviously. But started off as infantry. But anyway, Peter Hanlon. Beautiful. I don't know how long it goes for, so I'll cut it away. But yep. Cool, mate. Well, do you want to run through from the start?
Yeah.
Joined up. Why?
Thanks for having me, guys. Joined up. The old man pretty much pushed it our whole lives. He was an artillery sergeant. Grandfather served, grandma served, uncles and stuff served, and then my brother signed up before me. He's 2 years older. He signed up to transport, and then I saw him succeeding. He had a missus at the time, and he had a little patch house and nice little cozy thing, and was getting all this money. Took me out shopping one time and showed me all his money and all the stuff he could buy, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I like the way, as a young fellow, he's like, there's a strong tradition in our family, this and that. Bought at HSV, so I was like, that's me.
Pretty much, he had a HSV. So I was like, that's pretty cool. And,
when did you join up? What year?
July 97.
Okay.
Yeah, so a while ago now. But.
Yeah. When did you start, Fitzy? Sorry, Fitzy's here as well, everyone. Fresh off his 100K run.
99 I joined.
Oh, we were about the same time. I was December 99, weren't you?
September 99.
Oh, I'm such a tube.
We're all old school.
Yeah, so did he actually have a HSV?
Yeah, he did. First carry ball.
Oh, stereotypes for a reason. So your brother came back, he did that. And then, so where were you from? Like, where do you have to go to sign up?
I grew up in the Brisbane area.
Yep.
Up in northern suburbs, a place called Newmarket. Where I went to school and everything there, and we were still there. We had a home there most of growing up, and then went into the city. My brother went in there and signed up, and then I basically signed up thinking that I was hanging out and not doing the best stuff back then. But I signed up thinking that they weren't going to take me.
Yeah.
And they told me at the recruiting centre, they said, you're like the third reserve or something. So I was like, I just wanted to shut that up, make him happy, think I was doing something with my life.
Hey, I signed up for this, all right? Just lay off me.
Dad, I've done it.
Yeah.
Now let me go hang out with my mate.
Yeah. The amount of army guys that you're like, what were you doing beforehand? Nothing good. It's like, well,
it's the same story.
What else am I going to do? All right, I'll join the army or go to jail. They're my options.
Pretty much. That's the way I was kind of heading. Nothing bad, but,
Just a rat bag.
Just a rat bag. Expelled from school and, starting. I loved to fight back then and just thinking I was tough. And then,
well, how tall are you?
I'm not going to say.
Like, the stereotype checks out.
It varies.
It's like when you're 6'5" and 130 kilo, people like fighting at that sort of height and weight generally because they win. It's not by default.
Initially, when you went to join up, did you know what you were going to do?
Well, my dad kept pushing PDI because I was always winning the athletics carnivals, and fitness was my my way out. What I thought I was going to be Michael Jordan or something.
Oh yeah.
I thought I didn't care about school because I was just like, I'm so athletic and I'll just become a football player or a basketball star,
or whatever sport it is I choose.
Boxer. Yeah. So academics, I was like, no, I don't need that.
Yeah.
So just.
Do you play basketball back then?
Yeah, I did back then.
Right.
Yeah.
And footy, obviously.
Yeah, I played played footy, schoolboy footy and stuff like that, represented.
So did you actually like put in to try and get ahead that way, or?
No, I was just naturally, just naturally good. But no one back then really pushed you.
Yeah.
Like I wish I had someone back then who pushed me, like who said, "Well, you're right into this basketball. Let's take you to this coach, or let's take you to this, kind of facility and see what you got. See if you can match it with these guys."
We had this bloke at my high school, and he was basically Jordan to us. Like, it was just any time, like he carried our high school to state finals.
Yeah,
it's like you'd be like, "Oh, we need a 3 to win. We're down by 2. Everybody in that whole facility knew we were giving it to Phil." It's like, and regardless, they put 5 on him. You'd throw the ball just up in the air because you had too many people on him. He'd grab it, just fade away, bang, it's in. And he'd just be like, that was it. That's as excited as he got because he was like, I knew I was going to win.
Great.
Never saw him play past high school. But then he even left. So Jordan went to baseball. He stopped playing basketball, went and played baseball. Amount of trophies he's got from baseball.
Yeah.
Went back to basketball because Jordan went back to basketball. Like at no point was any sport he wasn't the best at.
Crazy.
But I don't think I feel like when that happens, it doesn't mean anything to you. And then you just don't put in. So like if you were killing it at everything and nobody's like, hey mate, whatever, especially if you're not challenged.
Well, I don't know if I was killing it from my perspective. I was winning a few races here and there. I was putting up a few points, but killing it. If I'd actually been put into some sort of competitive competition where it's elite level, I might have got my ass handed to me.
Yeah,
and that would have been a big wake up call as well.
Yeah, do you reckon that would have made you put in extra?
I think so. I think back then I would have, but then I saw the opportunity through the military to do it. So I thought the military was a good stepping stone into some sort of career because they could see that sports ability or whatever.
Yep.
And then let them do the legwork rather than me trying to do it. You've seen the rugby boys.
Yeah.
They had everything handed to them.
And they don't have to be in the army anymore because they're just too busy off playing sport.
Didn't have to go bush.
Yeah. Hey, boss, I don't know if you've seen, but they've got the Super 7s are coming out. I don't know about this bush trip beforehand, boss. Do you want us to get up or what?
Need to do some training, boss.
Yeah. I don't need to get injured. I'm trying to stay weight. Bush I'll just do myself in.
Yep.
Yeah, you just got to pick the right boss who's fucking.
I was lucky enough to be on a rugby 10s team.
Oh, here we go.
went down to Kapooka. They flew us down on a hearse.
There you go.
Yeah,
pretty much didn't do bush.
Yeah,
we had the rugby boys. I think it was sub 2 corporal or something, and the bush phase was 2 weeks, and they showed up for 1 day. Passed
the March out parade. Right, and they didn't get the drill right. No. So I don't know what the story is. Right. Anyway, we're just ragging on just army stories about policing and whatever it is again.
So you went there and you knew you were going to sign up for infantry?
Yeah, I thought Dad was pushing PDI, but once I started looking into it, I thought infantry suited me best.
You can't join as PTI, can you? You got to go in and then change over.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was pushing become a PDI. That was kind of what he wanted.
When you went to recruiting, did you ask him about that, or was it? At that stage, was it just you went there and you got what you got given?
Oh, I had no idea. All I really knew was about infantry and what my brother had told me, Kev. He told me about transport and artillery and stuff like that, and Dad was obviously artillery. They asked me questions, I had no answers to, and I thought...
Hang on, so your brother's transport and he told you to go infantry, and your dad told you to go PTI?
Dad told me PTI, but they both... My brother he went from transport to artillery. He transferred to artillery. So they're both artillery fans.
Yep. And both didn't tell you to go arty. Interesting concept.
No, I think I kept telling them that's not for me.
Okay.
You're like, even when they talked about it, I wasn't interested in artillery.
I'm not a bombardier, mate.
Yeah.
I like the bombardier corporal thing.
Yeah.
That's great. So so you went in, you would have just told them, the recruiting people, hey, this is me. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, back then it was they were doing that new trial where it was a 6-week course. It was the first time it was gone from 3 months to a 6-week.
Yeah. Kapooka, you mean?
Yeah, Kapooka. Yeah. It was the very first course or something, I believe, and I was on that first one, but I can't remember what corps. It was like an all enlisted corps for something.
So no resis or all infantry?
No, it was something else. And then they said, but there's another one that's infantry. It's all infantry.
Yep.
But that was for 3 months.
Oh.
So they said, you're doing the 3-month one.
Oh, right.
I thought I'd be out of there in 6 weeks.
Yeah, laughing. They brought in the 6 week and they're like, but you're not doing that.
Well, initially I was, but I was going to some, I can't remember what corps it was, but then they said, oh, no, we're going to put you in infantry and you'll do 3 months. And I was like, oh, okay.
I'll do what I'm told, I guess.
Yeah, do as I'm told. You know.
Nice.
Sounds like the army.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
pretty
right.
much. Yeah.
So then you went out, did Singo.
Yeah, I went and did Singo.
How'd you enjoy that?
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
I got a lot out of it. And it was a wild time back then, very different time now. It was the wild west back then.
Yeah,
I'm guessing there was a few heat seekers though on the course.
A few heat seekers.
You love those people.
Oh, I just love them.
Yep.
Were you one of them though?
No, I was always pretty good.
Not if you enjoyed his time there.
Yeah. It's pretty hard to grey man though at a bloody at 6'5".
You know, I'm not the smartest bloody tool in the shed when it comes to, you know, academics and stuff like that, but I'm always the hardest worker, I think, and I always push the furthest. So, you know, I might not get it the quickest, but I'll do it the best. Yeah. You know, and I think that's what got me through a lot of those earlier times at Kapooka and Singleton and places like that. No matter what the instructors or corporals would say, I'll just keep going. Yeah. And they'd try and go, you know, you're stuffing this up, you're stuffing that up. And I'm like, right, well, I'll try again. And I go, this guy just doesn't quit. Yeah. You know, which makes a good infantryman. You know?
Oh, yeah. I also haven't seen you, like you're not a massive smart ass.
Nah.
Like, you have to have jokes, but it's not.
Nah.
There's some dudes who just like, he needs to get hazed. Yeah. Like, there's some people you just like, he needs to learn a lesson. Like,
no, I've never been that guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you've gone from Singo, first time through, didn't get any injuries or anything like that?
No, I went, pretty much completed Singo and got posted up to Tuario.
Yeah. So Tuario was Townsville?
Townsville, yeah.
Yeah. Is it still Townsville now, do you know?
Oh, I think
it's
so.
Still up there.
I think so, yeah. Oh, it's all amphib now.
Yeah. I heard they were amphib.
Yeah, amphib now.
Cool. So you went up to Tuario. Yep. How long were you up there? You went overseas with them?
Yeah, so I would have got up to Tuario in, so I joined 97, would have finished by about, I think it was like February 98 that I arrived to Tuario. There was a bunch of us from Singo that arrived there, and what was Timor? Timor was 99. So I'd only been there in the battalion a year, roughly. Yep. And then got the first Timor trip.
Yeah.
It was pretty exciting times.
Real exciting times, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
It was actually kicking off.
Yeah, it was, you know, we thought we were going
it was
into
World War
III.
Timor.
World War bloody Timor.
That's what we'll get to later. It's his book, in case you're wondering.
Yeah. We thought, well, everything we were being told was prepare for the worst, you know.
Yeah.
It was the biggest thing since Vietnam.
Yeah.
Basically at back then, you know.
But there was a bunch of stuff going on. Like when we flew around after, there was nothing, zero going on when I was there. There was
worse for me. I had to wait 6 weeks for Bickies to come from mum.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing.
Well, that's fair enough.
Yep.
We worst thing that was us was infantry blokes stealing taxis and cruising around. They're like, well, they didn't really steal them. They're like, hey, can you drive us from here to here in a cab? And then they're like, you know what? I'll give you an extra 50 US. You let me drive it. It was like just dudes are sending scooters over speed humps and all sorts of stuff. That was the biggest change you had.
What year was that?
I can't remember.
Can't remember.
But allegedly, or what happened. But
I still remember the news though from '99.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know that was a big factor in me.
Yeah. Was it Banana Boy? At Banana Boy, there's a dude up in the banana plantation or something, and he got shot at by punters when he went off by himself, and I think he's just going to the bathroom or something. And then,
heaps was going on back then. Like, it was actually
journos got kidnapped and stuff.
The journos. It was pretty full on from what the news was showing and what the debriefs and briefs we were getting about what we're going into.
Yeah. It's crazy how different Timor was for different people.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it was hiding from MPs when you were trying to get like...
Yeah, no.
We were getting like fried rice and stuff. We had these massage places and they'd get you grog, they'd do whatever else it was. They'd like stand guard out the front. Yeah. And you're like, good times. Yeah. That's the most danger we had. But yeah, like other times but then you'd still fly around. You'd go to these little towns and you'd drop food off to them. Yeah. And you'd see churches that had like their roof missing and there's bullet holes all through it. And you're like, they just threw everyone in there, shot the place up and then burnt it.
Closed the doors.
And you're like, this is real Braveheart stuff going on. But none of that when I was there. But yeah, that would have been when your time was happening.
No, when we were there, it was still cracking on. Like there was still militia roving the streets, shooting rounds around about. And
was it Renato time? Renato.
I can't remember, mate. It's been, I can't remember.
He was like their big dude,
Yeah.
their big warlord or whatever it was. You should probably know his name. They'd got him just before I got there, so he wasn't a big deal when I went.
It was like the 25-year anniversary the other day.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So you went to Timor 99.
Yeah, did the Interfet trip 99
Yeah.
too.
And how did it differ? Because you went back in 02, you were saying. How did it change then?
Well, the O2 mission was under the United Nations. So I think it had transferred. So in my first trip with Interfet, the UN trip was like the transfer from Interfet to that. So whatever had happened to it.
So was Interfet just like an Australian Army-led invasion, basically?
Yeah, it was International Forces East Timor or something. Yeah, it was Australian-led. But I remember walking around and seeing French Foreign Legion.
Yeah.
Like there was New Zealand SAS, there was Australian SAS, there was infantry, Australian infantry, there was French Foreign Legion, there was US Marines, US intelligence were all there. I was bumping into everything. Those first Interfet days, yeah.
When I was there, we had the Portuguese.
Fijians.
What was that?
Fijians.
Yeah. I didn't have any of them when I was there. It was...
We drank kava with them most nights.
Yeah, it's so funny. You can go at different times, such a different environment. Yeah, people are like, oh, you went overseas, you must have seen it. I'm like, dude, I'm not jumping on that. I didn't. Yeah. I was like, I had a ball of a time. I actually got to stay in the same place for 4 months, and it was good. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was like the worst thing that happened to me was I'd go online, and I'd be like, oh, why am I my friends on Facebook online anymore? And you're like, oh, it's Friday.
Yeah.
They're going out doing something.
Yeah.
It's literally and then I'll be like, well, cool, I'll just jump back on Call of Duty. Like,
I got flown into Delhi for a fun run.
Wow.
Yeah.
Peach is like, I
that-
got shot at 50 times. But thanks anyway, guys.
Yeah, that UN trip in 02 was probably the quietest.
Yeah.
We're still patrolling, we're still doing our role.
Yeah.
But it was pretty quiet. I think everyone was transferring back into East Timor. They'd been kicked out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was kind of that transfer period. So we're doing a lot of pickets and that, a lot of vehicle checkpoints, things like that. Clearing vehicles and things like that. Just waiting for something to kick off. But
Even that was funny though. Like they were talking about how people had all obviously disappeared, run off into the mountains.
Yeah.
And there's no like deeds or anything. So you just rock up and it's first come, first serve. You're like, I live
pretty
here.
much. Yeah.
No, you don't. We built this house. You're like, prove it.
we
And
were,
then it was just,
we were getting a lot of people coming up to us saying, that's militia.
Yeah.
And they're pointing into a house and we're going to the house and they'd say, oh, no, this used to be their house, but it's ours now. So they want it back. So they want you to kill us and so they can have the house.
What a lose. How do you even check the papers on that? There is none.
And there's nothing we could do. So you're occupying it. It's your house. And they'd be like, no, they come in after, all that happened.
Yeah.
They've taken over our house.
Well, Saki, you're also there under different rules of
Different
engagement.
rules of engagement, yeah.
Can't fire unless they're firing at you.
Yeah, but even lower than that, it's just literally no one's got papers, no one's got ID. You literally can't. The people you might be talking to might actually be from that house. Like their story might have been completely true, and the other guys might be like, no, I've been here the whole time. Those guys are militia trying to take my house.
Yeah.
That's
The amount of locals I had come up to me saying, can you kill this dude or kill that dude? They've taken my house. I want it back.
Man, I remember going to the briefings and they were talking about how much it would cost to get someone, like put a hit on someone over there. It's like $50
Yeah,
US.
it's not much.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's, yeah.
And a lot of them too were actually ex-militia who come back to settle back into it and just reintegrate and adapt. And then others were like, "Oh, hang on, you killed my you killed my cousin.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
There's ain't no amnesty here, mate.
No.
You shot 50 of my mates.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Like, yeah, but that was like 2 weeks ago, mate.
Yeah, that was before.
Yeah. It's a new rule now. And I live here now, so I'm a different dude. Like, it's not a big deal.
Killed your cousin and took your house. Come on.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
Like, we can't undo it, mate. Let's just turn the other cheek. Right. Anyway, so Timor 02.
02, yeah.
Obviously a lot quieter than 99.
Yep.
And then after that, you went to 6 area. Did you just move on from 2, or is that part of it because you became a sergeant at some point?
Yeah, no, I got back from the 02 trip, just looking for something a bit different. I'd been in 2 since 98.
Yeah.
A lot of the section and a lot of the boys I'd kind of been there with on those initial times, kind of moved on.
As in got out or went to other units? Or
Went to other
both?
postings, moved, promoted, posted out. And here I was still in Charlie Company as probably a senior digger at that stage.
Yep.
Having new Lance Jacks come in from a different company. And I'm like, well, why aren't I getting promoted?
Yep.
You know, what's going on here? And
Sounds like we never asked.
yeah.
Never showed any interest.
Yeah, like, hang on, fellas. Yeah. So yeah, I was kind of a bit, maybe I should get posted out. It'll push along the promotions a bit quicker. 'Cause, you know, once you got that first posting, everyone's like, oh, okay, you've been around. So, I looked for a posting to 6RR. Our family was from Brisbane, so I thought, I'll go back to Brizzy, 6RR, and I got it.
Yep.
Went back to Brizzy, and
I was wondering if it was going to be more of a location thing that you wanted, or if it was a career thing.
yeah, I think the location made me choose the 6RR. I'd always grown up, you know, around that Enoggera base. It was kind of like, that was when I was growing up, military was Enoggera for some reason. It was kind of what I associated military with. So I'd always want to, you know, follow Dad's footsteps. He was Enoggera. My uncle was Enoggera. So I was like, oh, Enoggera, cool.
It's funny. Did you meet many Victorians when you were in?
Oh, probably. You know.
Well, the funny thing I find is it's very rare that I've seen Victorians join the military, especially the army and stuff. They're more. I find a lot more now when I work with them. It's Navy and potentially Air Force, but that's Cerberus is down here.
Yeah.
So that's like the only, you know, or if the Victorians are here, they're not city. They're
we don't
regional.
have the associations like we do in Queensland with bases, that stuff. We don't really have it.
So like Brizzy has Enoggera, Townsville obviously has Laverack, Sydney obviously has Holsworthy, and you've got the Air Force one there. WA is SAS. Adelaide has, I think they have Air Force and, well, they actually have all three of them now down there. But yeah, Melbourne's just not an army town.
Yeah, right.
So it's just funny that you don't see then, because Darwin boys, they get around the base as well up there.
Well, that's it. If you live in those areas, you grow up as a kid, and you know you're in like Newmarket, where I grew up, is not that far from Enoggera.
Yep.
They're neighbouring suburbs. So seeing the army guys knock off work and going home and on their bikes and stuff, I seen all that growing up all the time. So it was always Enoggera.
It was always funny when I was in Townsville, you'd see people just riding their bike in cams with boots and just ride. I mean, most of the time getting flaks of the bindies everywhere, and you see them with the big green tyres on. They've got no tubes in them anymore. They're like, nah, tubes are done. Can't do tubes in this stupid place. But you can't even wear your uniform and stuff. But I just love watching the boys try and ride home in the heat with their boots on and everything. Good on them. But yeah. So 6RR, how long are you there for?
I wasn't there that long. There was an opportunity. The CSM came up to me and said there's an opportunity for an instructional posting down at Albury-Wodonga.
Yep.
At that point in my career,
I say or whatever it is, where you school of like.
It was like a mill skills thing. So they were doing all their IET training down there, coming from Kapooka.
Yep.
And their IT courses were, I think there was months in between that they were just sitting there. So they were losing those Kapooka skills.
Yep.
While they were waiting. So they needed the mill skills team down there.
Kapooka skills.
Yeah, Kapooka skills.
And then just running around like, oh, yes, okay. Like we need to keep them scared, Pete. We need to keep them scared, mate.
Yeah, so they created this infantry det down there, and a few of us, the CSM come up to me and, well, no, actually he was at the Boozer and he said, you know, there's a instructional post, and most of the guys kind of shy away from that sort of thing. They don't want to get out the battalion because it's comfortable. Yeah. Where I wanted to get out and try and test myself in a different area, and I'd been in, you know, companies for 4 or 5 years. So, and it was, and I wanted promotion. That was kind of my goal.
Yeah.
And it was guaranteed 2 stripes.
I think also it's, I find a lot of things people learn is like through teaching, you learn so much more.
I come back to the battalions and I was head and shoulders above everyone else, all the other section commanders there. I just had, because I'd been instructing for so many years, so I was teaching myself while I was teaching others.
Yep.
You know, the basics.
Yeah. A lot of the time you learn through teaching.
100%.
Because you've got to know everything much more. You need to be all over it and all that sort of stuff. But.
Yeah, going from there, and after there I went to Kapooka as an instructor. So teaching, like back in the battalion, I understood the weapon and how to employ the weapon and things like that, but I didn't understand the working parts of the weapon.
Yeah.
Whereas coming from Kapooka,
I can never say.
I knew,
nomenclature.
Yeah. I knew the insides and outs of the weapon, why it works this way, why you employ it this way or whatever. So I'd go back there and teach the other section commanders.
Yeah. You're like, the reason you were taught this is so that you as soldiers can bring the thing to bear, rah, rah, rah.
Exactly.
Next lesson will be with rah, rah. Yep. I did enjoy the instructional thing. It was quite amusing. So when did you get out and why?
I got out. I
You
did
don't have to say
another.
why if you don't want to.
I did another trip in 06 to Timor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was with.
That's when it started back up again, wasn't it? Didn't we pull out?
Yeah,
before
that's
then?
right.
We pulled out because
yeah,
we pulled out in 04.
yep. And it, I think a couple of policemen were shot in the streets.
Yep.
There was that shooting that happened.
Shot.
Yep.
Yeah. That had kicked off, and we went back in there to kind of sort that out. And there was that guy running around, that guerrilla guy running around the mountains.
That might have been the Renato guy.
I think the SAS took care of him.
Yeah.
They went up there and
It was funny hearing some of the stories about him though. Like he was like he'd never have a firearm out in the open because they could get him.
yeah.
He reckons he used to
ROEs.
Yeah. And he used to see all the he'd see the choppers and everyone coming around and he'd just wave at them.
Yeah.
He'd be like with both hands, he'd be like, I got nothing, you can't touch me.
I'm pretty sure they took him out though. I think
they got
they found him and got him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well he was like, he was in a hospital or something.
Was he?
Yeah, like but
I
he was
thought
like but he's
just
tooled up. Like it wasn't an actual hospital like it was supposed to look like it.
He had a bit of militia around him.
Yeah. But we mean streets when I was there. But we went around. All these graffiti was still there. There was heaps of them because we took a wrong turn. We were trying to find a basketball. We were playing basketball on the mean streets, obviously. But we went the wrong way down this thing, and you could just see them. They're all getting on their phone, like, "Oh, they're coming back, they're coming back." And I was like, "Geez, there's still a lot of unrest around if you went off the main
that
streets."
06 trip, like doing the UN trip, it was pretty quiet. When I went back in 06, it was pretty full on. Like I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
It was intense. Like we were constantly QRFing,
Yep.
chasing guys down, constant patrolling, night patrols. It was full on where we were.
Yep.
I'm not sure about everyone else, but we had a pretty good time.
We remember talking about it in 04 though. We were part of the last detachment over there and we sort of were starting to pull all the choppers back. And we were talking about that at the time, saying that this is going to all kick up again as soon as we leave. Like it had that sort of atmosphere where they were just sort of waiting for us to leave and then, right, we'll see what happens next.
Yeah.
So it was only a matter of time. And when it did kick off again, I think a lot of us expected it.
Yeah, that trip I saw, like it was just as intense as the Unifed trip. Different style of intensity.
Yeah.
A lot of burning buildings. Like we'd arrive and there'd be a riot, massive riot, and then everything's on fire. There's a couple of dudes hacked up, and then we'd come in and it'll disperse. And then the moment we left, it would reignite. We were constantly putting out fires like that.
Yeah.
That was our trip, just putting out fires, just constantly.
That's hard work too, because you're sort of not really feeling like you're getting to the bottom of anything. You're just putting out fires.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's strange to hear, and that's why I hate talking about like Timor like it was nothing, because for me it was, but there was so much, people are finding all those bodies in a well. There's mass graves and stuff. There's all sorts of stuff that was going on over there, and I feel bad because none of that happened when I was there.
Yeah.
But people go, "Oh, you must have seen some stuff in Timor." I'm like, mate, everybody's trip was different.
It was.
So it's hard to sort of say. But even when people go to Afghanistan, they're like, "Oh, you went to Afghanistan." Some dude's like, "I never left the fence."
Yeah.
So it's hard to sort of try and paint everyone with the same brush. So like when people ask these questions, you're like, well,
you can't. I mean, I'm looking across your aviation. I was Ramey.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
I'd complain if they didn't have like a good dessert on.
Aviation was
it just was different.
Aviation was a combat corps, mate.
I know that I used to look. We had 6 RAR over there when I was there in 04, and I just felt sorry for them. I'm like, man, they just getting smashed.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to use. We made a pool. They weren't allowed to use the pool. Like, just let them use the pool. None of that shit.
We used to have a detachment over at the APOD or whatever it was we were calling it at the time, and we used to have you had to have a certain amount of downtime in between your shifts. We had to have air conditioning in our accommodation and stuff. Had to, like it's part of the rules for aviation. God. We are still a combat corps there. Let's not shy away from it.
My room was 2 meters away from they had 3 bunk bed things
in a hut.
In a hut. And here's me walking into this aircon thing and looking across
experiences may vary.
Can we guys?
We know that. In infantry, it is what it is.
Oh, you are the lowest. Like you're expendable.
We're expendable. Yeah. We are that tool.
We lost another Pete. Let's get another one in.
We all did feel bad though because we were like, man, I'm doing nothing. They're doing nothing here.
But and the other thing that was funny was they didn't integrate with us as well because they're like, no,
we hated it. But
it was funny
Of course
because
you did.
Yeah.
because you had a couple of them that were like, nah, we're embracing the holiday that was, because they'd be with us for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But we had like a big projector screen going on under these huge fans and stuff. It was, we were like, hey lads, come and hang out. Like, nah.
No.
And then, but some of them would be like, no, screw that, we're doing it. And they'd come over, they'd watch TV with us. Other dudes would go use the pool and do whatever. And they're like, oh, don't snitch on us.
I'd say to my blokes, yeah, you can go and jump in the pool or get in the aircon, but we're going bush in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you want to go from that to bush, or you
Yeah.
want to stay out bush? And then be like, oh yeah, no worries, Sarge, we'll stay out bush.
Yeah. But that's what's funny about it. It's like, do you want to go and experience something, experience luxury, and then you have to go, oh,
Yeah, back
what
to
have
the
I done?
grind.
Yeah.
No.
Because a lot of those dudes that do that go, no, that's it. That's
Yeah,
me done. I'm
exactly.
changing course. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, they realise how bad they've got it.
Yeah, well, because we'd be at the mess, we'd be having lunch or whatever, and you'd see like one of them looking around. You'd be waiting for the other boys to go, hey mate, can I talk to you about how do you become a loadie? I'm like, you need to fluke in there, mate. You need to fluke it, and then just go, and you're free. You're good to go.
No, and part of what you're saying before was the reason I wrote the book. I think Timor hasn't had its story really told.
Yep.
There's so many people who served over there and who have that as a big part of their military service. I think it should be spoken about. And mine's only one perspective.
Oh, it'd be even just if we had like a tradie, me, an engineer, and an infantry bloke on the same deployment, and you wrote about your 4 months there.
Yeah.
Not even remotely.
Well, that's what I was
similar.
saying. But thinking before, when you're saying that nothing happened when you were over there, yeah, shit was going on when you were there. You weren't anywhere near it.
No, I flew over all of it. I saw all of it. What are you talking about? I was on Overwatch, man. Everyone behaved when I flew around. That's death from above. No, was that mortars? Someone's got to lose their mind over that. So 06 kicked off again. Did you at least have a peacetime one again after that?
What's that, sorry?
So after 06, did you go back again or?
No, that was it. I come back. I got promoted at the end of my 06 trip to sergeant. Got posted to 1 hour. And
back to Townsville, you went?
went back to Townsville. I was hoping,
you did go back?
I was hoping to, at that stage, to get an Afghan or Iraq trip. Yeah, right. That was kind of where I wanted my...
Had it started at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of where I needed my career to go.
Yep.
But I got back to 1RR and I got put into, I think it was Charlie Company, who were pre-deployment training for 6 months in Timor.
Yep. Oh.
So I was going there. I literally had 2 weeks. So I got back 2 weeks and then I was going back for 6 months. And at that stage, the marriage wasn't that healthy.
Yep.
So I went up and asked the RSM and CO. I said, sirs, I need to go to Afghanistan or something. I don't want to go to Timor. And they said, well, suck it up, Irish. You got to go. And I said, oh, no, I don't.
Yeah.
And then so I put in my D. And I was like, all righty, do that. And I just don't understand that mentality.
It's just one of the, we do this, the boys try and do this thing. It's like when someone's like, oh yeah, and then this happened, you're just like, shh, it's just an awkward savvy moment. It'd probably be better if I just had
Is it savvy?
Yeah. It'd probably be easier if I just had a sound effect for savvies instead
Savvy,
of just making it
16% off.
17. Come on, mate.
17%.
Sort it out. Yep.
Hang on.
You gonna go Berry?
Yeah.
You gotta open it in the thing.
What do you mean? In the
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
that
big.
was good.
Big Pete. That was a
Hang on,
solid
hang on.
crack.
What flavour have you got?
He's running Berry.
Oh, good.
That was a solid slurp. I love
That's the berry.
Well done. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. So the marriage wasn't great.
The marriage was shit.
Right. Is that fixed now? That's over, isn't it?
No, that's a long time. 08, I think we divorced or something.
Yeah, right. Oh, there's your heads up. Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Played that game.
But that was its own nightmare starting back then, because then it was like a war just fighting that bloody thing.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yep. Did you do the same thing as every other infantry bloke? Did you just like marry a stripper or?
Married the first Townsville chick I met.
Yeah, Candy or Mystique or Angel or what was her name at the time? Awkward. So then did you put your D in then?
Yeah,
They said go to Timor and
they said you're going to Timor, and I said, I don't think I can do it.
Don't reckon I will.
The family situation, and I said I've been there 3 times. I've proven I can do Timor. I want to do GAN. Let's go. And no, it wasn't going to happen. I'm sure I would have got there if I stayed in.
Yeah,
like no doubt. But I just didn't want to do another Timor.
That's fair.
Yeah.
They might have done the old aviation dangle. They kept telling us, like, oh, any minute now we're going on the GAM, boys, any minute now.
Yeah.
I've still got mates that are still waiting to go on a Black Hawk over to the GAM.
Mate.
Gone through a whole new model type and then back to
It's
Black
funny,
Hawks.
and I've talked to other guys and they've done 4 trips to the GAM, and I'm like, it just depends on where you are, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
That's the army for you.
Right, so you threw your D in.
Yep.
They're like, you won't do it, and you did.
Yep.
And then what did they offer you?
Nothing.
Really?
Oh,
Wow.
I went over to Tuareg because they obviously got deployed. So I went over to Tuareg and ran the mill skills team,
Okay.
which was really good.
Yeah, nice.
I ran that. They won it.
Yep.
Then they went over to it was a pretty bad time there for me at the end there because they won it and they were going over to the UK to compete.
Yep.
And I was in my office and I remember a lieutenant come out, knocked on the door and said, "Irish, well done training the team up, mate."
I can see where this is going already.
well done. I'll be taking it from here.
I'll be taking it from here, champ.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh.
And I'd been trained. I trained them for months.
Yeah.
I did all the bush with them. I did all the pack marches. I did everything with them. I got them ready. I got them through. They won it. And he comes in and I'm going to the UK. You're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, oh, fucking.
Yeah, right. Let's speed this D up. let's put that on the.
And I was having a bit of anxiety and panic attacks.
Yeah.
Which is not healthy.
Yeah. Cool. So discharge. So when did you get out?
Hang on. Can we name and shame?
Why? Oh, the lieutenant or the
Yes.
Oh,
No idea. I never even knew the bloke.
yeah.
So it wasn't like we had
Dick
a
face.
relationship.
Yeah.
If he knew who I was, he wouldn't have done that. So
If he knew who I
would have
was.
sorted him out. He's like, who's this sergeant? He's just come over. Didn't want to go to Timor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
He's like, oh, doesn't want to go to Timor, wants to go to UK.
Timor, yeah.
Oh,
Fuck this guy. I'll fucking take it.
yeah. Yeah, mate, you've been here for 3 months.
Yeah,
though.
who's
So
this?
maybe just chill out.
Fucking lid.
It's not hard to get back into the toxic thing, is it? Right. So you got out. Did you have a plan before you got out? You just went at this point. You're just like, I don't care anymore.
I had no clue.
It's a pretty long run, 11 years.
11 years. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I would have liked to have done longer. And like I said, I think the only things I didn't accomplish, I did the Kapooka thing, which was really good.
Yeah. Yep.
I accomplished everything I wanted.
10 years. Did you have long service or did you get paid out?
No, I got paid out.
Right.
Yeah.
You know a disgruntled bloke when he doesn't even take his long service. He's like, nah, I'll just take the thing and I'll
just
pay.
take it,
Thanks.
yeah.
See you later.
No, the only thing I wanted was that Afghan trip.
Yep. But you would have taken the UK trip.
Oh, I would have taken it.
Yeah. Silly not to.
It probably worked out for the best because I was, like I say, on the anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to have that over there either. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise.
Yep. Right. So then you got out. You were telling me you were helping a bloke from 1RR do some hiking thing that you were talking about.
Yeah, I had a mate who reached out to me, and he was he ran a company called Experiences, Ray Carson, really good bloke, legend of a guy. He was ex-1RR, just a weapon. This guy's just a weapon. And he reached out to me, and he helped me out a lot. He put me, I'd just go up there and help him out. He used to run like team corporate stuff.
Yep.
So he'd get all these corporate gigs, and then we'd run them through, putting up a tent, navigation, GPS type stuff,
Were they just team building activities, or was it more just like, hey, come be a soldier for a day? Or
it was more team building because of the liability and stuff.
Yep.
There's only certain things you can really do with them.
Yeah, you could hose them down at 3 a.m.
You can't hose them down at 3 a.m.
Which is funny because there's a new crew out. I'm going to try and get them on, but they're doing that.
I was going to say, why can't you?
I think I don't think
Does that get
BHP's
cold?
yeah, but I don't think BHP's like able to actually just put you through an actual sort of scenario. Whereas if you sign up for something, it's a bit. Hey guys, on Thursday we're just going to go down and do this thing. Oh, is it table tennis? Yeah, something like that. Just like, get on the ground, you maggot. You're like, I didn't sign up for this. Yeah.
Now, it was a big wake-up call from the army because, I'd say to them, all right, you got to go 600 metres in the bush there. It's your checkpoint's out there, and they'd be like, no, not today. And then they'd go and sit down in the shade, and Ray would look at me just starting to rage.
Yep.
And he'd be like, Irish,
Raging Ray.
No, he can sit in the shade if he wants. And I'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, no worries.
All right, so he was looking at you like settle.
Yeah, he's like,
I thought you
settle.
meant he was cracking it at the
nah,
boys.
nah.
I think every military bloke that goes
Yeah.
out has the same sort of thing. Like people just don't do it.
I'd just gotten out as a platoon sergeant. You know,
Yeah.
I'd been Army for 11 years. And I was like, it was hard to adapt to that mentality.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk through the bush. I want to sit down in the shade.
Yeah. Mate, I joined the police academy straight. I was like, "Oh, stop going jack on your mates," and they looked at me funny. So, what do you mean? How do people not know what going jack means? It's like that was a rude way. I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
surely this isn't too far from the army. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh no, we're miles off. Yep. Like, not opening doors from each other, not doing. I'm like, how did people not know teamwork? And then it's when you realise the army taught you stuff.
Same as the movie industry. We'll get into that. But
Yeah.
the movie industry is similar.
Yep. Oh, there's a mad pecking order.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming I haven't seen too far up it, but I'm assuming it gets better the higher you go.
Yeah.
But I've seen the shit part, and it's it's very similar. Right. So you're doing that. You said that went for like 7 or 8 years. You were doing that.
Yeah, it was,
Like that's
it was
not,
just...
you painted off like it was a 2-month thing when I spoke to you about it before. It's like almost
Yeah,
the same
it
amount of time.
Yeah, it was decent, but I wasn't doing it every day type thing. It was just
Okay.
kind of, here and there. But during that
Just
time
weekend
as well,
sort of stuff, or
yeah, kind of like that. Just during that same time as well, I was doing my own kind of crazy stuff to keep me kind of motivated. And
because you were saying you were posting a lot of stuff on socials and stuff to try and show that when you get out, you can be.
yeah, I don't know.
You don't have to just sit.
Like
at
I
home.
was trying to tell other people that, I was trying to say, you're not a victim and stuff like this. But I think I was doing it more for myself.
Yeah, tell yourself that.
Yeah, I think I was the one trying to heal myself, but telling everyone else how to do it.
Yeah.
But in the same thing, it was helping me.
Yeah.
So I'd get all excited and I'd go, all right, I'm going to get these veterans up and I'm going to get them excited. I'm going to do 50 Ks without water or food through the bush. And then I'm going to swim out 600 meters and, just try and do whatever I can.
Which is funny because you never would have done that in the army.
Never.
Because it would have been dumb.
Never.
It's like,
Yes.
let's do 50K with no food or water and then I'm going to swim
Yeah.
without knowing how to swim.
I had no plan. I just thought, what's stupid? What sounds or looks cool? And just do that. There's no plan to this.
Yeah. What are you nodding at, Fitzy? Fitzy's like, I heard there's a 50K run on the weekend. I'm going to go do that.
It's like 50K.
I'm with him.
He's like, mate, I did 100.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
But you used to take stuff with you. You take water bottles.
I think it was more of like how far can I push myself without, because if I had water, it would have been easier. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wanted it to hurt and I wanted it to be hard. I don't know if that was punishing myself or something was wrong with me, but I missed that purpose
Yeah.
and that mindset.
I get that, but I just feel like you could do 50K with water and it's still a mission.
No, it would have been too easy. Back then.
It's like, no, where's the risk? Where's the risk?
Yeah,
in
where's
that?
the risk?
Like, if I can't actually die, I'm not interested in doing it.
No, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I wanted to crawl out of there. Like I wanted to get the 48K and crawl back
Yeah.
with a broken leg. That was kind of to me saying, oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Just walking a 50K, that's easy.
Yeah.
Everyone does that. Do it crawling with a broken leg.
Yeah.
And I put myself in those situations, which is scary.
Is that something that when you left the army, that you sort of felt like a piece of you, and
Yeah, I think so.
whether you weren't hard anymore? Because
I think I'd lost a certain aspect of myself, and I wanted to prove that I didn't get out because I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Afghanistan because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Completely. Yeah. So there's heaps of times where, like, I've spoken to people who haven't gone to Afghanistan and they just regret that they never got to test that part of themselves.
You never got to prove it. And I was a bloody good soldier. Like, not toot my own horn. I really believed that I was born to be a soldier, and I didn't get that to prove that. So that was hard.
I've spoken to people who went to Afghanistan, and they were like, we still didn't get to prove it.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that weren't SF were like, we barely left the border.
Yeah.
Then other blokes are like, well, we was
similar stories to Timor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I don't even know if that would have proven it. If I would have gotten a contact, I don't know if that still would have proven it.
That's the one thing that I've found is a constant between all the boys. Like, boys that have been in contacts, they're like, oh yeah, but there was bigger contacts. Yeah. Like it goes from we
can talk about our last guest. It was like, now I'm not going to get to finish my deployment.
Oh mate,
got blown up, and he's
Yeah.
just like, never going to get to finish my deployment with the boys.
Yeah.
That's all he cared about.
Yeah, it was funny what he was thinking about. He was just like, "Oh, my last mission was a failure." I'm like, "Well, not technically, it wasn't, because he was clearing it. He was supposed to be clearing a route from here to here." And I was like, "Well, the thing blew up,
Cleared
so
it.
that exactly,
You cleared it.
I'm like, Maisie, the principal actually did get there without getting blown up, because you blew up. So that's a mission success, really."
Yep.
But he was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to go upstairs when I get home." I was like, "Well, it's an interesting thing. It's like, I imagine not being able to go upstairs." I'm like, "But mate, like, he's talking about failing a mission." I was like, "Well, not really. You got blown up and didn't die and cleared the route." I was like, "That's ticking all boxes."
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's funny because he, you got the vibe talking to him that he wanted to go back just to go through it and then not be blown up. So he's like, went out on the high as opposed to went out on taking an L. But I was like, getting blown up and not dying is a pretty good non-L, I would suggest. But yeah, there's heaps of other people that I've spoken to who they went to GAN, they got in contacts, they did whatever, but they were like, "Oh yeah, but the other boys got into this contact."
Yeah, and there's probably guys out there who did get in the contacts and stuff who's like, "Irish, you probably don't want that." So I'm not trying to diminish what they've been through. I'm just trying to say I don't know if that's what I needed. I don't know.
It's also even blokes who have been there, like they'll say, they're like, "Oh, you never want to go through what I went through." But even just in that saying that, they're like, "Oh, you don't want to do what I went through."
Yeah,
they're clearly going, "No one's done what I've done."
Yeah,
to a part though, a lot of people, when you join the military,
that is what you want.
that is what you want.
That's why you joined.
Well, I joined as an aircraft mechanic.
Yeah.
I still wanted my time to be purposeful.
yeah,
I wanted to have a purpose. I didn't want to just go there and do nothing.
yeah,
And I think for an infantry soldier, that's what you want to do. You want to go and go and fight the good fight.
It's hard for people to understand that like you want to get shot at, or not so much that you want to go and
In your vicinity.
conflicts and things like that.
You don't want to
You
get
train for a reason. You want to show what you can do.
This is what my life path is.
Yeah.
Whether they agree with it or not doesn't matter. This is what I've chosen as a path.
Those
I
guys-
want to
It's a
experience
profession,
it.
and you're good at it. You are all very, very good at it.
But there was those guys talking about footy. They're like, you would not train 4 years and never play a game.
Yeah,
Like, that's, just imagine going to footy training every Tuesday, Thursday and never getting a game on the weekend.
Yep.
And you'd be like, that's literally what it is.
and how are you ever going to know how good you would have played?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you gotta live with that, good or bad. Could you have been the best? Could you have been average? Could you?
Yeah, and there's the flip side of it. Obviously, those guys who have been in contact and stuff who have never been the same people since. So there's that as well. But there's I think the real takeaway is it's like none of us can change what's happened. So like if you did there and you got in some shit, like you've got to accept that and then try and work on what you're going to be now. And if you went over there and you didn't get into that stuff and you feel inadequate as a dude, then you need a new purpose anyway. Either way, you both need a new purpose.
I think
it's hard to.
Yeah, I think it's an immaturity at that stage of my life. I think now, like I've speaking to other veterans and stuff, you've got guys who've been in 20 years who never got deployed.
Yep.
So then I sit back and I go, wow, okay. Well, if I look at it from your perspective, you did a lot longer than I did.
That's all part of it, though, isn't it? I mean, when you look at your military career, how young everyone's so young. You don't know shit about shit.
Yeah.
But you think you do.
You think you do.
You think you know it all, and that's part and parcel of being, bulletproof.
Yep.
But even if you look at when we went, like you went 99 and 02.
Yep.
When you 04, and like I was 07, 08, 08, 09. Like we had traffic lights, we had resorts and stuff going up when I was there. Whatever. They wouldn't have that when you were there.
No.
And it's it's just so different. So even though you went there, like I'd be like, oh, what? It wasn't like it was in 99 when I went.
Yeah.
So my trip's just like I was just taking the piss.
Yeah.
So my trip to yours is miles under what yours is at. When you're looking at an Afghanistan trip, like it's all this. So
that's what I was worried about with the book. I was really concerned about, how people were going to perceive a Timor book with the way I read it. It wasn't about the resorts. It was about what I experienced from the best of my memory.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if everyone was going to go, well, fucking Timor, mate. Like, calm down,
But
calm down, especially after the Afghanistan and Iraq and all that. I was like, I wasn't sure I even wanted to do it, to be honest.
But, I mean, it's the thing is, so many blokes went through Timor. We would have had more people go through Timor than Afghanistan, surely. But because I know we deployed pretty heavily in Afghanistan, but we were in Timor for ages as well. But I just wonder, because it's funny though, because there's a lot of funny shit that happens in the army, and I don't think we portray that anywhere near enough. Like everyone's like, yeah, I'm a mad war dog. We went in, we got our armor, we did this, we did that.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, but when I get out and I talk to my mates, I don't talk about that. I talk about this time that some dickhead couldn't get a bloody hose off and he ended up like getting whacked in the nuts with when the fire hose went off, or when we all got sprayed at that time, and or people, you do the CS gas and then you put your shit in the dryer just to screw everyone else over because you had a shit time. And it's like all that stuff is hilarious to me. Or someone goes on leave and you fill the carpet with like grass seeds and stuff. So by the time they come back, they've got a lawn, and then you've mowed it because they came back late or whatever.
Well, the thing, when I was writing it, like some of this, like I couldn't fill a book full of worries about bloody Timor. Not much really happened.
There's only so many scorpions you could find and get to fight each other.
I had to fill the book with other stuff, and what's the thing that we always talk about with the laughs and the good times and the times we went through together. And I thought, well, I'll put it in the book from a digger's perspective. Yeah, and I'll put exactly what how it went down, regardless if it's politically correct or not.
Well, I'd like to think it wasn't, because
most diggers went through. They're the times that we all talk about when we're having a beer at the RSL.
We played this game, Tape Face, which is about as in depth as it sounds. We just had black electrical tape, because you're like, shut up, you guys keep fucking around doing this and doing that, and you're like, yeah, right. So we're doing like charades basically, but with tape. So you had to like draw. You got all the tape and just painted your face with it. So you could be like, well, one of us was Mario and Luigi. We were like, so you put a little L and an M on your head, and you do big eyebrows, and you have big mustaches, and obviously Hitler's an easy one to do, just a little one, but. Like we were getting in depth. People made like hats and stuff. They were going, like, we went crazy. I mean, sure, taxpayers would probably be upset with the amount of tape we went through, but considering Fitzy would have smashed and dropped his screwdriver in a bloody engine, it would have cost $250 million. Then it's not as big a deal, electrical tape, whatever. But that was like Tape Face is one of the best things. One bloke was like writing the morale of the Talisman Sabre. It's like just level, went down a bit, a couple of times, got back to level. Then Tape Face, it went skyrocketed up, then went back down again. We're still talking about Tape Face. Some of the boys are trying to find the photos of it now. There's like people had photos at the time. It was great. But like that, I couldn't tell you what else happened on that trip because the rest of it was boring.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Tape Face was amazing.
We remember those moments, kind of what got us through, I think, those bonds.
I remember we did another one where we were doing like this, like when they just keep you awake for just the sake of it. They're just like, oh, we're doing sleep deprivation. I'm like, oh, that sounds like something beneficial. Like, sure. It's, so we just started doing that. And I remember like probably 2.5 days into it. And like at some point I'd realised that they didn't give a shit that we were digging. They just wanted to hear the noise to make sure you're awake. So we just took it in turns. Like, go hide that bush. I'm just going to go tink, tink, tink. So we were doing that. We were like, all right, we've worked this plan out. We're going to work as a team and do whatever. This other dude just launched his entrenching tool. Just spat the dummy after like 2.5 days. Just saw this thing flying. We're like, oh, what? And he's like, that's it. I'm going home. He's like got up, just starts walking. We're in like the middle of nowhere, like in Israel somewhere. Like, mate, where do you think you're going? He just lost it. 2.5 days, he lost it. And then, enough. And then the
that's my limit.
Yeah. He's like, that's me done. I don't care. AWOL me, I'm out of here. And like the corporals spoke to him. Like they weren't polite to him at the time, but then when he was like, cool, well, let's fight then. And then it changed, and they're like, all right, let's have a chat. Let's go over here and talk because we were just yelling at you and then you didn't change your mind. We're like, all right, well now we actually have to fight, or we need to talk to this bloke.
I seen a dude do that, just throw the dummy and start walking off, and a CSM went at him, throwing punches.
Yeah.
He threw punches at the CSM.
No, the CSM threw punches at him.
That makes more sense. Yeah, that tracks. Good.
Poor digger. His whole life just evaporated before his eyes.
Oh, it's just like there's so many times when you just like you're about to spit it and crack it, and then when someone else does, it's like it's the valve for everybody. Yeah, you're like there's 30 of you out there going, I'm about to smash this ET through my face in a minute. I just don't want to be alive anymore. I'm done. And then someone else does it, and you're like, oh mate, can't handle it. Yeah, you know full well 20 minutes that was you. Yeah. It's like,
you were just behind him.
Yeah. And now everybody's like, look at dickhead, he's doing this and doing that. And you've got another day and a half now. And then you're like, oh, someone else is going to have to spit it in a minute.
It's funny the mentality though, like that I saw them as such weak people
when they broke.
Yeah, the way I looked at them was, I don't know. I looked down on them.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just looked at them as weak and you can't do it. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably not the best way to look at them.
No, and then you're left with anxiety and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. it's all
relative,
bottled
isn't it? Yeah. I showed them.
I showed them.
Yeah, they've got 3 degrees and they live in the high life, and there's us just rocking in the corner going, yeah, they couldn't break me. Yeah.
I'm with you. I think I'm probably guilty of that as well.
I think we all are.
You'd be like, mate, I left Kapooka and I remember walking through, and this is Kapooka. Like we've just done, I'm nothing. But in my eyes.
What hallway, by the way?
16.
No, not you.
32, I think.
Hallway 32?
Yeah. But when I went back,
what are you looking excited for?
4.
Oh.
When I went back as an instructor, I instructed on 32 as well.
That'd make it hard to remember which one you were.
Yeah, so there's been a few.
Yeah. I remember just going to the shopping centre and just going, none of your jobs matter.
Yeah,
you know,
I did the same. I'd go through a drive out, and I'd drive through, and I'd be like, "Oh, look at you, you scum!"
Yeah.
Like, is that all you're capable of?
Yeah.
Like handing me some fries, and you got my order wrong.
Yeah. Come on, and you got my order wrong. You don't even have a hard job. If I did my job wrong, people die. It's so funny how much they get in your head, man. I remember going, and like I was going in there, I was going to get a new T-shirt because obviously I'd lost 70% of my body weight after I've done my super hardcore 5K march or whatever it was we're doing the march out. And I just remember going in, somebody's selling me a T-shirt. I'm like, oh, what a waste of a life. In here selling T-shirts. Like, spare me. Yep. If you didn't come to work tomorrow, nothing changes. Yep. And I was like, well, if I didn't go to work tomorrow, what happens? But I'm like, but what if there was a war? Because I'd be the difference, you know. Like it's just weird how much.
But I think that's
they
part
get
of
in your head.
I think that's part of the training. It's
definitely.
You're supposed to be that addicted to it.
I remember
This is definitely a point of difference between where you guys went and where I was.
No, I was very.
War was not a thing for us.
Yeah.
No,
you're here to fix
at trade school. Yeah.
No, I was very. I don't know what you call it. Very a green institutionalized. I was very army was everything. If you weren't as green, if you had your pocket undone or if you had your hands in your pocket, I did not like you.
Looking now, I get that as well.
Yeah,
and
only pregnant people cross their arms, mate.
And I remember seeing we went up to what's that village that they've got up in the back of Townsville? What's that?
The High Range.
High Range, yeah.
Yeah.
They've got the village that's up there, and we went up there just for shits and giggles. Like they give you the guns and the headsets and stuff and shoot lasers and stuff. We were like, yeah, we're going to play laser games, And then we had I don't know what it was, 2RAR or something came up and showing us how to clear rooms. And I remember all of us just like, oh, fuck. They're fucking good.
These guys really do this.
Like, wow, we're not playing against them, are we? Like, it's still a game to us, but they can't play.
Yeah.
Like they were impressive, So like I understand
we
the whole
took it
mentality.
seriously,
Yeah, hell yeah. And they were like,
that's your whole job, man.
That was my life. That was it was my everything.
That's how far detached that I was though from that side of the military. That was sort of I was 5 years in at that stage, and that's the first time I'd ever seen someone doing some military skills where I'm like, we're not just shooting at a target in like the that was it for me.
But even for infantry standards, I think I was a bit more than everyone else as well.
More buy-in than everyone.
Yeah.
A real believer.
A real believer in the system. And
I remember.
So that's why it was so much harder for me to adapt out.
Yeah.
I remember playing enemy and just being that rude dude that just like shoot every now and then, so they'd have to stand to and then wait for him to stand like and then go again or whatever. And then I got caught. And that was not a good time.
Yeah, you hear the word reorg, and then you fire another shot.
Yeah, mate. I got caught by these infantry boys, and I may as well have been the enemy. Like they did not enjoy it. As funny as it was for me, all the other times they're like, right, well now you're wearing every other enemy that was around. They're like, right, this is a stress position. So now I'm holding all these stress positions. I'm like, my head's against the wall at some point. I'm like, these are really shit. And they're like, yeah, well, you know what's worse? Your mum's going to get a letter now that you died. I'm like, oh, wow. The boys, they were just into me, they're like, yeah, well, you're lucky this isn't real because we'd be doing X, etc. to you.
Was that 1 hour?
Yeah. No, it would have been. It would have been 1 or 2.
Yeah. 1 and 2, mate. Since it wasn't 2.
No. Well, I remember, it was funny too. Townsville was known between 1 and 2. Like,
massive.
2 was known as like being the boyfriend. material, and one was like, no, you don't hang out with one. But it was pretty obvious too, because one was just covered in tribal tattoos when I was there. They were just all running just the massive tribal.
tribals.
Yeah. You couldn't be one without tribal.
It was a tribal phase, wasn't it?
All the same to us. They all hated us. They all hated us, and we beat them at the obstacle course.
Oh, maybe you tell me about that.
God did that, like cause a stir. Yeah, loved it.
That's right. Let's cut it away there, and we'll come back and we'll talk books and movies and stuff in the future.
Sweet.
Unless you got any other army stuff you want to sign off on.
I'm sure.
What's your book called?
World War Bloody Timor.
Bloody Timor.
World War Bloody Timor.
Yep.
Is that you can actually get it?
There's a story behind that title too.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into it in a minute.
Where can we pick the book up?
It's a secret.
It's mostly online now. You can pick it up at QBD, a couple of other major bookstores, but I think now it's more ordering it.
Righto. I'm looking for a copy.
Righto. Thanks, gang.